Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew. This is Just a Guy Linux on YouTube, and this will be my fourth video on Sway. I had planned on doing a video several days ago, and in fact I had recorded a lot of what I was going to show, and I have since put that in the bin and wanted to show basically what I have learned over the last few days about using Debian and Sway together. I know that this is not for everybody, but if you are a Debian user and you want to use Sway, this is what I've found. Okay, so let me just kind of show you, and then I'm going to just delete all of it and start again and see if that helps at all for many of you. I've basically copied all the files that I need to copy so that I can quickly get through and get to this point again. I'm using the Kitty terminal. That's the first thing. I am using Firefox. I had problems with Thunar. This is Thunar, the new version of Thunar. Since this is Debian testing, it's the latest version of Thunar and XFCE stuff. This is something that you might want to look at if you are like me and like this type of text editor slash, yeah, basically it's a text editor. I like all the colors and everything like that so that it's easier for me. This is called Light XL, and you need one plugin basically. It's in an app image that you can use, and I'll probably put the location of the download in the description below. Again, this is nothing, so let me just go ahead and open up my Genie, my old and faithful Genie, and I am using a color scheme called Tokyo Night. I know that it's popular, but you know how behind the times I am. And so this is what it looks like, okay? And I like it, I really do. And I think maybe I like the color scheme more than I like anything else. But as far as Sway is concerned, it works really well now. So what I want to do is kind of show you how I got to this point. One of the videos I did already kind of demonstrated the problem that you have with GTK applications and how slowly they load. But there's a whole lot of other, not a whole lot, but there are other things that need to be addressed. And I'm going to do that in the next few minutes. So what I'm going to do is reboot and install Debian from scratch. And I won't bore you with this because I know I've done this many times, but I just wanted to let you know that that is what my plan is, and I'm going to do that and probably pause by pausing most of the time when it's super boring. Okay, so I need this one, and I'm going to install. And like I said, I won't bore you with this, so I'm going to pause here. All right, we've installed a Debian 11 Bullseye, and it took about 10 minutes to do that. So I want to what is it? There we go. Just to show you. Now, interesting, quick aside, I want to sudo micro, because I've installed micro, git, and ZRAM tools. That's the only three things that I've installed. I'm going to etc apt sources list to turn this into Debian testing. This is a new thing with Debian. You could put Bookworm or testing there, but as far as non-free, you also want to add the word non-free firmware. hyphenated in between each word, okay? And then Control S and Control Q. Since I was using micro, that's Control S and Control Q are save and quit. And now as I sudo apt update, it's got quite a few packages to do. Notice that it did hit the non-free firmware packages to get those as well. What I'm going to do now, though, is to start it off, and I will pause again to when this is done. Okay, we are back, and I just reboot the machine, and now you can see that we're on Bookworm. Okay, now let's go ahead and clear the screen. And what I want to do is I'm going to git clone a few things from my GitHub, and github.com/drewgriff/scripts. Okay. Now it's only a few things. I'm going into the scripts, and there is a sway.sh file, and I probably will use that. I've been kind of using it, but it's not really ready, I would say, for prime time yet. But let me go ahead and so I need to chmod +x sway. And let's go look at that real quick, just so you can see micro sway. So I don't need anything. I actually do need exa. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna delete this real quick, and I'll leave that. I'm actually not using time shift just for speed. And don't need this because that's now you're gonna find let me just talk about this for 1 second. LX appearance, okay? I am not going to, if I was going to do this knowing what I know now, I would not be installing LX appearance, but I'm going to simply to demonstrate problems I encountered with changing the theme, icon theme, and GTK theme, and it not working in LX appearance. So let me go ahead and continue to do that. I'm going to install Kitty instead of XFCE4 terminal. Mako, Grimslurp, wofi, Wayland. Don't need this. Oh, that's commented, NVIDIA. And then I'm installing this leaf pad thing. And let me go ahead and install Genie while I'm here, just so we're in text editors, Genie. And then Genie plugins. And then these are two things I need for lie. And then actually I need sudo systemctl enable lie. And then reboot is not, I don't need to do that. Let me take that out. And actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick is sudo apt install, is it font awesome? I think that's it. And I'm going to install the nerd fonts after this. So I'm going to save that and then quit. And then we're going to run Sway. And should be good to go. And I won't bore you with this, so I will pause the video until all of this is complete. Okay, I have just updated and reboot, and we should be greeted by the Lie console or login manager in a sec. And there we go. And we're going to log in. And there's Sway. Okay. I did, by the way, install 2 more things. One was I use my Nerd Fonts script to install a bunch of Nerd Fonts, plus I installed Firefox because I didn't do that using the script. So I needed to do that, installed it off camera. And then I actually moved my bash RC file, my bash RC file into the directory so that I could use it. Now, I am going to, I think that the problem that I had, the original problem was it would not load GTK applications really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Thunar, which is a GTK app, and it does it. Now, I think the problem is once you start changing the configuration file, it then has a problem. So like if I go to 2 right now and I open up Firefox, it should be fairly quick, but I'll show you in a second. When I start messing with the configuration file, it's not going to be as quick. So I'm going to pause and load a configuration file just so that you can see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up Genie just so I can show you the config. Okay. So I've commented out the background image. I am going to set the terminal for Kitty. This is not going to work yet, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. So, and then the status bar is going back. This is the original status bar. I did change the gaps. It should be fine. And actually, I think I changed the colors, and that shouldn't affect anything that I'm going to do. So let me go ahead and Super Shift C. Okay, yeah, it changed the color up here. Should have sworn it would have done it. Oh, because it's on a different. Sorry, so it's. Notice that I said border pixel 2, which makes this not 2. You know, if I look at this right here, what it doesn't do is it doesn't refresh on the current workspace. So if I go to 2, and by the way, there's no background image. So if I go to 2, notice that it actually keeps the configuration. Sorry, it actually renews the workspace, and so the configuration file will work. I said that completely wrong, but basically you get the idea that it did not update workspace 1, but every other workspace that had nothing on it, if you go to it, it will take on the parameters of the configuration file. Okay. Yeah, that made no sense at all, but okay. So I've changed everything, and I'm wondering if it's going to, because I've changed the configuration, will it? Yeah, it's not going to. Let me go ahead and see if I can get it to fail, basically. So I'm wondering if I have to like reboot or if I can just log back in and see if it will do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Thunar. Yeah, it worked fine. All right, let me try to just reboot real quick. So if this does not fail, what a waste of time, right? Okay. All right, so I hit Thunar to open, and it's going to take 20 seconds for it to open. Okay. It's going to be the same thing. Like if I go to 2, I'll just leave it. Notice that it's not loading. Thunar quickly. I'll wait a couple more seconds and you'll see it'll open finally. Okay, there it goes. I'm going to open up, I'll go to workspace 2, and I'm going to open up Firefox. And I just hit the shortcut key for Firefox, which is Super B for me. And it's going to take this time to fail, basically. Well, not fail, but take this long to open slowly. Okay, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do now is the fix. And let me, so what you need to do is add a file. Now let me just go back to my Sway, because I've added it now. The configuration file just basically says, look at this config.d directory and use anything inside that directory. Okay, so I'm going to, the default is this configuration file. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and uncomment this background image, and that's all for now. Let me just go ahead and with that, okay? And I have included this auto start underscore applications folder. So let me go to that, and we're going to, let's go ahead and make this, let me just send this over to 2 so that you can see all the things. So in another video, I basically did not have this section of the of this exec line in this auto start configuration. So I have, actually I need to install numlock. Just let me do that real quick. Okay, sorry. All right, so I didn't have that, but I wanted to make sure that I can rule this out of the other problems that I had using Sway under Debian. I always try to, make that point. I don't know that a lot of Debian users utilize Sway, or I don't think they utilize basically any Wayland window managers. So I'm trying this basically to try to get ahead of it a little bit. So anyway, this will solve that issue by having this in your startup. Then it should eliminate the problem that we have in slow GTK application response. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart. And weirdly, it doesn't look like, so I'm going to go to 3. Yeah, I don't know why this is weird, but I'm going to just leave it for now, okay? So I don't know if that fixed everything, but I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead out and then restart, or just log back into Sway. And now if I hit Super F, it may not work again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reboot. So let me do that real quick. And if it doesn't work, then we are in trouble. Sorry, I feel a little scattered with my thoughts. It's just there's so much. It's like there's so much time that I put into figuring some of this stuff out, and it's like diarrhea mouth or something. So I'm There we go. So I hit it and it was quickly responsive. So let me open up Firefox to see if that's quickly responsive, and yes it is. Okay, so that's one problem down, and in fact I did a whole video on this already. Now let me install a couple themes, and I'll get back to you in a sec. All right, so I have installed some themes. Okay, I am using right now. I'm using the default themes, and that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and change this. All right, and hit apply, and then I'm going to change the icons, and then hit apply. Okay. Actually, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It totally doesn't matter. I'm just going to use it. And so I'm going to, a lot of times you have to close and then restart. So I'm going to close this and then restart this particular GTK theme, which is Thunar. And maybe Thunar is not the best one to use if you are if you're using a Wayland compositor. Granted, and in fact, let me prove it to you. So, because what I'm going to do is I've installed PCman FM, and look at that. It takes the theming and is solid with it. So, and in fact, if I open up, I'm going to open up Firefox, and it's got the right theming, and that's fine. But let me go ahead and open up Genie. Not so fine, and not an XFCE, not part of the XFCE desktop environment either. It's separate, and granted old. But I will say also that I tried gedit, and it was the same thing. And maybe Debian's packages, as far as gedit is concerned, is a little bit far from where the latest and greatest is. But, and in fact, I don't know what the answer is. But as far as which version they're currently on and what version is on the Debian testing packages, but it didn't work. So whatever. Now, what I'm going to show you, though, is something called nwg-look. Okay? And this package is freaking awesome. It looks like LX Appearance, and any type of GTK setting will work once you have this installed. Okay? Now, I'm going to pull up I need to go back and look at my history just so that I can make sure that I'm installing all the packages necessary for this particular application to work. So give me a sec on that. Okay, I'm not sure what I need out of this, but I definitely need to clone this. So let me just copy this. How about that? I was just looking at my history so that I could make sure that I get the right stuff. Okay, so let me go into nwg. All right. The one thing I definitely need is this. It's written in Go, and you can use the Debian testing. Golang is the right package that you need to kick it off. Okay. I think there's only about 4 of these that actually need to be installed, and I see a couple dupes, so that might not be something that you need at all. So, all right, so I'm going to go with lib. I'm just going to go right down I'm going right down the list. So install lib glib 2.0 -dev. Okay. All right. Install lib Cairo. Oh, already installed. Okay. Let me libcairo 2-dev. Okay. And now I don't think we need this next one, but it's going to be lib web. Actually, we might need this one. So lib webkit 2 GTK hyphen 4.0 dev. Yeah. And that might be it then, because so this is a duplicate here, and this is a duplicate there. I think that's it. So I think it's just the three packages. Okay, great. So in case you are interested, I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. libcairo 2 dev. This one I did in the first one. This is a copy. And this one was the one that had already been installed, right? Okay. So I just want to make sure that I keep that. Let me save that just in case. All right. So I need to make build. I want to make sure that it gets to a point where I'm confident that it's working, and because this takes actually quite a bit of time to build. So I am going to pause here. Okay, the only other thing I did after it build was I ran this sudo make install, which took about a second. Now, I will say, in order, at least on my machine, it took about 9 or 10 minutes for this, this make build command, okay? Don't think it's stopped, but it basically, it takes a little bit of time for it to run that make build command. And I'm using an i7 from, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago. So anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and start my wofi, which I have attached to the super spacebar key binding. And you'll see that customized look and feel is something that you normally see when using LX Appearance, but this GTK settings looks very suspiciously like LX Appearance, and it even says, hey, you know, hey, something about LX Appearance on this. Yeah, strongly influenced by LX Appearance. So I'm going to go ahead and close my terminal. And so when and let me actually go ahead and close this. And I'm actually going to look and see if it does it on the fly. So here's Thunar, and I'm going to use this and hit apply, and boom, it does it. And now I'm going to install, use the icon themes and apply, and look at that. Oh, that's green light, so let me go with that. And or pink dark, doesn't even matter, right? So actually, let me just go with pink dark. And then I like using this list view so that it looks like this. That's my personal opinion. Okay, now this is great. So you don't have to worry about like the G settings INI file and blah, blah, blah. Man, I was struggling to figure out a way to get my GTK applications to work correctly inside of Debian Sway. This solved a lot of problems for me. Okay, so even if I go to 2 and open up Genie, now you can see, well, that's just the color scheme, but let me go ahead and show the sidebar, and there you go. There you go. It basically took on the appearance of the icon and GTK theme. So another problem down, and let's start working on no problems, but let's go to the I'm going to go to this particular this is my default configuration. So let me close everything else because I don't need anything else except this. Okay. We're going to replace waybar. And what I can do is I'm just going to take this out, and I've already actually copied the command, and I'm just going to add it. And it's just this simple swaybar underscore command waybar. And that's all that's necessary, except for when you start configuring the waybar. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And when I super shift C, it basically changes everything. And this is the default waybar, okay? So I'm going to add a waybar folder in my .config directory, okay? And so I'm going to create a folder, and we're going to call it waybar. Okay. Except you actually have to spell it correctly. So let me rename this waybar. Okay, now I have some files at the ready, and I'm going to my documents, and I'm going to take all 3 of these, okay, and I'm going to copy them into that config waybar. And let's take a look at these, okay? So the config file, is anything else open? Yeah, this is open. So let me swap that over to 2. And the config file, we're done, by the way, with this default. So I don't need that. Basically is the config file basically determines what is going to be shown in the bar, okay? So in this case, I've got my workspaces, the window, so it will show like this line here where it says config, home, Drew, config, waybar, Genie, that stuff. That would be in this section on module on the left. And then CPU, memory, pulse audio, and custom date, clock, tray, and custom power. All of those will be on the right, okay? Now, it's showing right here, you can see these icons are if you want just the icons. So in this case, I'm asking for it to show not just the name of the workspace, but the icon with the workspace. Okay, so it says name or 1 : space icon. Okay, and that's what the workspace is going to look like. Okay, and then you're going to see everything else. Now I will have this configuration. Probably I'll have a separate GitHub. Maybe tomorrow I'll put this on my GitHub in a special Sway in a special Sway GitHub. Boy, I'm really articulate today. Okay, let me go to style. Okay, and so it's going to import this Tokyo Night CSS. So I'll open that as well. And basically it's showing all the colors, okay? And so all you have to do is say base, text, base, and then I'm using different colors. So it just, you know, blueberry 100, slate 500, and stuff like that, okay? So it's, you know, there's the configuration, then there's the style sheet, and if you're like me, you'll have, if you're not like me, you'll probably do a better job at this. Let's put it that way, because I'm using like a CSS that makes no sense at all. You should basically have like define color blue, define color orange, and make it really simple. I would just have a lot of these, and I think I was using a palette from maybe a Tokyo Night Vim maybe, or something like that. Anyway, I didn't want to change the names, so I started just using these. Okay, so what does this look like? You know, I've got my config, I've got my style sheet, I've got my colors, and so when I hit Super Shift C, it should change everything to where we first started this video. Okay. Actually, did I even install? It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close everything and open up my terminal. And so this is what my current this is what my current build for Sway Debian is. Now, so I can scroll, by the way, as far as the and there's a click. Now I bet you I don't have Pavu control installed. So install Pavu control and CPU X, and I think I installed or maybe not. Okay. So if I click on this, CPUX pops up. Okay, if I click on, and then let me close it. And if I click on this, it's got my Pavu control, so that I can easily like click and mute it or not. Actually, my output, my configuration should be like this. Oh, it should be like this. There we go. And then close. So you get the idea. Now I don't have this thing set up. Oh, I do. I forgot. I guess I do have it set up. All right. It's just to knock me out of this way real quick. So there's that, and I've got one more little thing to show you. Now, if you like this, it's basically taking on the GTK. So this is basically wofi, and it's taking on GTK attributes. Now, there is a way for you to have a separate configuration for wofi, and I will put that in too. So let me go ahead and close this, or escape, I guess. And let me open up Thunar again. Man, this looks good. I like it. All right, and I put in my docs, I got these two. Let me copy those or cut them and put them in .config. And we don't have a folder yet, so let's call it wofi. And let's paste these. And so same thing, you know, as far as config and style. And there you go. And like I said, I'll put this on my GitHub. Let me go ahead and close everything. And so now when I open up, you'll see what the current wofi looks like now. So I kind of like it, you know, kind of dig it. So let me go to, and so for, I don't know how many other videos, if any, I'll do on Sway. I kind of like the way this has turned out. Like I said, I don't know that I need to go through all the hoops. I mean, I can legit put BSPWM on a machine in about, I don't know, 10 minutes. That's, I mean, so to kind of go through all the hoops necessary, it does look really nice. That's just my personal opinion, and it works really, really well. So I hope that this has been instructive or useful to you in some way, shape, or form. And I appreciate any comments and likes or subscribes. Appreciate you, and see you soon.